My name's Nihal. I work with Harness, with a company hosting today's TeachMeet with Mark Anderson. Really looking forward to this evening. Tonight means a lot to us, and we've been planning it for quite a while because as a company, we're really keen to make sure that we're working with teachers on an ongoing basis to make sure that we're building an impactful product. And for us, there's three key things that underpin that. First is ensuring that we're constantly co-creating our product Unio with teachers. And I know some of the teachers speaking this evening will be telling you a little bit about what Unio is, so I won't get into that now. Secondly, supporting it with effective CPD that goes beyond just basic product training, but looking how it's embedded into teaching practice. And thirdly, ongoing feedback. So working with teachers and schools on an ongoing basis to understand how they're using Unio to improve teaching, learning and assessment, and sharing those best practices with other teachers. So one way we do our co-creation is with our teacher tech board. So we work with a range of teachers from different backgrounds, and they inform our product development. When we come up with ideas for new features, they're the people who say yay or nay. In terms of CPD, a lot of teachers we work with will create decks in terms of how they're using the product that we then go on to share with our new users. So it's really just facilitating the sharing of best practice there. An ongoing feedback, a number of things we do, one of which is we're starting very soon and would love to invite you to take part in, is a number of action research projects. We also run an extensive pilot program across the UK, and we're always reaching out to teachers on social media, on our platform, just to get feedback on an ongoing basis. So I'm going to keep it short. We'd absolutely love for any one of you who'd like to be involved in any of these initiatives. Please do come to speak to one of the team. We've got Russell over there. Come speak to me. I'm not sure where Mare is. You can contact us on Twitter, or drop me an email. But particularly what we're looking for today is support with the Action Research Project. So come speak to us in the break and we can tell you a little bit more about that. I'm not going to say any more because I'm conscious of time, so I will hand over to you, Mark.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. Cheers. So there's a bunch of competitions over the course of the evening. The first one we can get started on straight away is the Amazon voucher to you can win for the best selfie. Okay, so get yourself a good selfie going on. So you can get a selfie, tweet it on the TM EdTech hashtag, and we'll go through that and pick a winner at the first break. We've got a Kahoot quiz later on. The winner of that can get a £15 Amazon voucher. We've got a random sort of picker sort of thing at half-time as well, and some books donated by Crown House Publishing, including my book, which again you can win later on. And then as a legacy prize, so you can win a free school-wide license of Unio with training with me. And what you have to do to get that is to sign up and tweet that you've done it, basically. So you go to that address, and if you're going to get a picture of one thing, Ollie's probably going to get a great photo of this and tweet it. So if you go to that address and register, and just tweet Unio by Harness, then you've registered, and then you can get a year sort of subscription to Unio Platinum with some training with me as well, which will probably go better than it has with the microphone I'm using right now. And breathe. See, when it's my slides, it's better. This is the icebreaker prize. Yeah, £10 Amazon voucher. Tweet your best selfie with the hashtag TMEdTech. Add a line why you booked, maybe. But the best selfie will get that first prize, and we'll do that prize draw at the first interval. So I'm going to crack on now and start talking a little bit using my own slides. So welcome to TeachMeet EdTech. Thank you so much for coming along. I wanted to get involved in a TeachMeet that sort of focuses on effective use of technology for quite some time. And this is what I'm trying to sort of share with you during the course of this session. I often start a TeachMeet with a bit of music, though, so hopefully that will come through on our next slide. He says, I'm just going to spin through. I always like to say a nice welcome, so let's start with this welcome. I do love this app. It's really simple and easy to use. It's called Ditty, and it's free on multiple platforms. I chose that because a good friend of mine is here tonight, John Neal. He loves the Backstreet Boys, so I just thought I'd choose that. But the weather's been really terrible recently, so I thought I'd do one which was a bit more sort of summery, had a bit more of a summery feel to it. So here we are. So you're feeling happier already. You almost like the waves there, the sun shining down on you. Thing is, and this could be guilty of that as well, you know, lots of technology we see can be seen to be quite gimmicky. I'm going to try and sort of move away from things that are gimmicky and share things which can be used purposefully. But actually, things like this can be used in lots of different ways as well. So I was working with a school where they were looking to, the student council were making videos on a weekly basis about things that are going on in the school. And so they made a little video clip using this as an intro to their weekly student council videos. So there are lots of great tools out there that we can use and sort of capitalise on some really engaging things in the classroom for children to embed upon. But the thing is, when it comes to being a teacher is quite a hard gig. It's a bit like it is to be in Chrome or whatever browser with a whole lot of tabs open at the same time. I taught for quite some time and I taught for more than 20 years, and it's a hard gig being a teacher. Thing is, though, lots of teachers don't realise and recognise that using technology, some really simple technology as well, can actually have a big impact on how you can perform in the classroom yourself. There are loads of things that can make you much more efficient, can do lots of work for you, particularly with some of the assessment for learning and formative assessment tools that are out there. Anyone ever had one of these moments as a teacher? To be fair, I've not had that one. I've had dad a few times. Anyone had the mum or dad thing? It is really nice when it happens. It's very cute. And you're like, oh, it's I'm a bit of a stickler for spelling, punctuation and grammar. It's one of my favourite T-shirts. I did get changed to be a bit more smart for the session this evening. But it'll be okay if you know the difference. Do you work with any of these people in your schools? I find they're like... do you remember catchphrase when you were younger? Say what you see. You might want to work out what it is. I call these people a bit like sort of teacher dementors. You know, they walk into the classroom and sort of suck the life out of things. But what's great, okay, is when we start using social media. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for using things such as Twitter. I'm looking around the room and I see people that I converse with for a long time that I've never actually met face to face. So I believe that's James over there. Okay, James, you've spoken a few times on Twitter. Nick, honestly, over there, hi Nick. I've met you, once maybe? But we're always, you know, sending tunes to each other and this sort of thing. Dawn, I've known you for years. But even before that, you know, I've known her for a lot longer before I actually met her, through social media. There's a lot more that unites us. If you use social media, you might see there's a fair few teachers getting into some unhealthy, maybe, debates of late around their approaches to teaching and learning and so forth and so on. But in my experience, when people and teachers particularly using social media, there's a lot more that unites us than divides us. And so I know on the live stream, we've got teachers from literally all over the world joining us to hear and learn and share with us this evening. So please do, if you're not on Twitter, I'm sure many of you are, but if you're not, please do sign up and tweet tonight, please, using the TM EdTech hashtag, if you could, please. You can find lots of great things. This is me bigging myself up a little bit, but there are loads of great resources out there that you can find to help you with your teaching, learning, or technology journey. This is my periodic table of iPad apps. Some of it's a bit sort of tongue-in-cheek as well. Anybody listen to Scott Mills on the radio? He does a feature on a show called Real or No Real. Anyone see that? Or hear that? Okay. I couldn't do Real or No Real. That's their thing tells you why I probably didn't put no. I had to put not in there. But there's a guy or girl on Twitter who puts these fake secret teacher sort of memes onto Twitter. Have any of you seen these sort of ones? So what I'm going to ask you is which one of the following images is a real headline from The Secret Teacher and which one of them is not real? Okay, so Secret Teacher, don't talk about the field trip, you weren't there, man. Is that real or not real? Who thinks real? Who thinks not real? It was not real, that one wasn't real. How about this one? I have no idea how to mark students' work. Real? Yeah, it was real, that one. Yeah, very good. Yeah, most of us got that one. I fixed the vote for head boy and head girl. Real? Anyone? No, that one wasn't real, sorry. No, that one wasn't real. I was treated like a naughty pupil for not wearing a tie. Real? Yeah, that one's real. This is one I wrote. Not really. So that's a fake one as well. Now, I've got one more to show you. This is my favourite one. Real or not real? I want it to be real. I mean, it'd be so good, wouldn't it? No, that one's not real either. How can you do things like this? You know, it's not just for fun. We can use tools like the person here uses to introduce children to using lots of different types of activity in the classroom. If you want to find out more of those, by the way, that's the Twitter handle of the person who makes those and tweets them out and what have you. It's just a bit of fun, isn't it? The Secret Teacher. And they make them using a free tool from Mozilla called the X-ray goggles. Okay? Now, if you're familiar with them, you'll know that if you go to any web page, okay, but pretty much any web page with the X-ray goggles loaded, let's say you go to the BBC News site and what have you, go on there, click on the X-ray goggles, and you can then change elements on the page. So you can make your own news titles up, put your own photos in, and it's a great, introduction to a bit of HTML programming for children. And it doesn't have to happen inside a computing lesson. It's something you could be doing in English, getting children to write stories and sort of creating these pages for a real audience. It's a bit too much just to ask children to make posters and expect learning to happen. Obviously, that doesn't work, does it? A bit like my clicker.
The things that make virtual reality compelling have been with us for tens and hundreds of thousands of years. At its core, it's about storytelling.
Everything along the way is a step towards trying to get more immersed in the experience, more immersed in the story. But, we're still putting something between you and the world.
What we really wanted to do was to make something feel real. And so this is the first headset, or actual reality.
I could play more. I won't. Let's just move on. We see, if you like that, by the way, Google do those sort of videos every April Fool's Day. If you just look on YouTube and type sort of Google April Fools, there are loads of videos like that which are really helpful. Well, a friend of mine who may be watching, he's a teacher in Dubai. He's actually got a pair of those Google transparent viewers. Your eyes are just fine. But there are lots of things out there which can be seen to be sort of gimmicky and what have you. What we find technology does best is when we actually think really carefully about how we're going to use it. Arthur Clarke said, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And certainly, the most important person in the classroom when it comes to technology is you as a teacher. You're the person who's going to make the difference, not the app or the tablet or the laptop, whatever it is that you've got. You're the most important person in the classroom. You can make the biggest amount of difference. To say that magic doesn't exist, awe and wonder, engagement, all those things, we can get lots and lots of that with technology. But it should always really sort of link back, I feel, to the learning. A thing that I use a lot to help me with my thinking around teaching and learning is combining this pedagogical content knowledge model that Schulman came up with in '87, and then the expanded version into TPAC. And, as teachers, we'll have plenty of pedagogical knowledge from what we did when we were doing our PGCEs and what have you. We'll get plenty of information and what have you from our subject special degrees and what have you that we did. But not many people got training on how to use technology, linking it particularly to teaching and learning when we were training. You know, I'll just sort of pick on, if that's all right, John, for a second. Yeah, you have a similar role to I've had previously before. You're sort of Director of Digital Learning, that sort of title. Is that a bit? Digital Learning Leader. Okay, but John's basically in charge of technology across the curriculum within his school. Okay, now John, how much CPD do you get, which is specialist for you? It's not a lot, is it? Okay, and what you find is most people who want to do well and want to try and sort of bring themselves up and improve their technological knowledge are people like you guys in here. Yeah? How many of you work with teachers who wouldn't be seen dead at a TeachMeet? Yeah? You don't have to tell me, but I know you will work with some of those people. They might be some of those teacher dementors that I mentioned earlier. So what can we take away, take back? Because those people are the ones who actually could do with a bit more support and a bit more help, I would say. You know, I was talking last night actually with a teacher who teaches in Muscat. I took part in a Twitter chat online, and she's in her 60s. I met her for the first time at a conference. She flew up, gave up her own time, paid for her flight to go to this conference. She's in her 60s and she's still trying to learn new things for the kids in her classroom. I said to her, "You're amazing. We need more people like you giving up your free time to come and learn and share and contribute to help develop what we do in the classroom." Many of you will have heard of the SAM model. This is a great way of getting you thinking about how you can sort of get more out of the technology that you're using in the classroom. And I strongly urge you to read up on that, as well as the TPAT model that I mentioned before. That's all very well and good, but whilst technology might do this to children, it doesn't matter how much training some teachers might have, even though the children are like this, the teachers are often like this, aren't they? And if there isn't much opportunity for them to practice that stuff regularly, actually, this is what you end up with, and then the Wi-Fi goes down and things just get terrible and they're really worried. And they vote with their feet and they don't use technology. So what I'm going to try and share with you some ideas that sort of follow this, and this isn't me looking for data or anything, this is the idea of keeping things nice and simple. Simple tools, because what you tend to find is there's no one big thing that will change or transform teaching and learning in the classroom. It's little tweaks, it's little things that you can do with your children to improve standards over time. The sort of things that are low access and high challenge, which basically means what you want is things that involve a really low entry point, okay? So low effort, but high impact. And there are lots of tools that you can use that will have that sort of thing. And then looking through the presentations tonight, I'm really pleased to see that lots of them, and actually knowing what the presentations were about tonight made my presentation really difficult, because all the great ideas I wanted to share were already nabbed by other people. So I couldn't do that. But if you can have that in mind, when you find something new, if you go to a conference and someone says, "Oh, you want to try this out?" Okay, try and think, it might be great for you, but what about anybody else you might want to share it with? You want things that are dead simple, but really scalable in terms of the learning. Think something like Padlet. I don't think anyone's doing Padlet tonight. Padlet, I've used that with reception children, I've used it with year 13. It's dead simple, easy in, but really scalable in terms of what you can do with that technology. So, just a bit simple, I'm using Keynote for my presentation today. Let's say I want to interrogate that picture. Well, using the magic move between each of your different slides enables you to quickly zoom in onto different people that you might want to talk about in your history lesson, as an example. It's not groundbreaking, but it's just simple things you can do to help draw out a conversation around the learning that's going on in the classroom when it's happening. So what sort of things can you be thinking about to help you when it comes to getting impact from your EdTech? Well, is it easy to use? Is there a depth of challenge there? Is it accessible? Because lots of schools have one-to-one programs, that's great. But what about if you're in a BYOD school? So will it work on multiple platforms? Will it work on a Chromebook or an iPad or something else? And then, most important thing, will using it actually have an impact on learning? Is it worth my time? A teacher I worked with once said to me, "Mark, is the juice worth the squeeze?" And it's that's important. Is the effort I'm going to put in as a teacher, given how much work I've got to do with marking and planning and preparation and everything else, is the time I'm going to put into it worth the effort? And we can use lots of things to sort of create resources and so forth and so on. This is something made using a bit of a mashup between Paper by 53 and Adobe Spark Post. This is another sort of similar idea with a reflection jar, again made in Adobe Spark Post and Paper 53. Those are ideas from 87 History on Twitter. I believe he's watching from Abu Dhabi right now. And then we've got things where we can sort of do some mashups again. We can do some stop frame animation and then use tools like iMovie to do some narration over the top. Here's an example.
Pollination is when an insect goes to a flower, gets pollen stuck to its back, goes to another flower, and drops it off and makes another flower. Thank you for watching my video.
You know, I spent about half an hour with the children in a school. You know Bradley, I'm sure. And, you know, in a very short space of time, they'd mastered the stuff really quickly. Oftentimes, actually, if you hand the device or hand the idea or the tool or whatever it is over to the children, oftentimes they'll be actually quicker to pick these things up and be braver about using the stuff than some of the adults that we work with. Thinking about Ebbinghouse's forgetting curve for a second. Okay, there are lots of tools that can help us with that sort of work as well. I know we're going to be looking at Kahoot, for example, later on, and I sort of champion that, and other things like quizzes. And the idea is that if I teach you something today, if I don't revisit it for, you know, say 60 days, in 60 days' time, I'm only going to be getting to about 5% of how much I'll remember from what I've been taught. But if I revisit it, a few days later, can you see how smooth the curve then becomes? There are tools that we can use to help us with our interleaving and our retrieval practice that are really simple for us to use, can mark the quizzes that we run with the children, but can really help with children remembering the key facts and knowledge that need to use. Tools such as Quizlet, flashcards on there, or using the stuff you set up on Quizlet to do team quizzing with Quizlet Live. These are fantastic tools that can help with your assessment and children's retrieval of information and knowledge as part of their syllabi. Unio, that we're talking, that are sponsoring us tonight, the tools that they've got there are really, really helpful for us as well. You can put your PowerPoint presentations on there. You can see what the children are doing on there in real time. And you can do some really easy assessments. Children can keep notes from the work you've done and give them the feedback on and what have you. It's a really rich tool. Here's an example here from Jodie Lopez's class. So PowerPoint slide shared with the child. Draw a creature for your story. This is their natural habitat. So the creature's been drawn onto the slide. And also all the children in the classroom can have access to this on their various devices. A bit of feedback from the teacher. What a beautiful creature. Does it have any special powers? Yes, it breathes fire. Okay? I think it's just so lovely to be able to have that sort of learning conversation going on in the class. Don't just show your PowerPoint presentations, share them so that you can have those sort of conversations. Give them opportunities to annotate pictures and showcase their knowledge and their learning. Lots of different ways in which you can do that using Unio in the classroom. Just a quick reminder, if you wanted to win access to that, there's that slide in there again, if you missed it when it was up before. If you want to win that, the sort of premium thing for that for a year, then get on and do that. Something that's been really helpful to me, and I know lots of children like it as well, is Office Lens. It's a free app for like pretty much every device going. What it does, so a number of you are sort of taking pictures of the screens now. At the moment, what it does is it sort of, you have the image like this, then it crops around the edges, so you end up with a nice image like this, and you can make a multi-page PDF from the various photos that you've taken within the app. You do need to have access to Office 365 for some of the advanced features, but the app itself is free. It's really helpful for getting for sort of scanning documents and what have you. And another massive favourite of mine is Post-its. I love and hate Post-its in equal measure. I love them because they're great for sort of having children thinking about the various ideas and what have you, and slap them on the wall, or using them for exit tickets at the end of the lesson. All these sorts of things are really, really good, but I hate them too. Because if I teach year 7 on a Monday morning, I don't see them again until Friday, and I want to use those same post-its, I lose them, they lose their stick, they get mashed up with other classes, which one was which. But with Post-it Plus, which is a free app, okay, with this, you can scan the post-it notes, you can write your own, you can arrange them however you want, you can easily share them for next lesson, and that's another free app. And it just digitises all of those post-its. One of my favourite quotes that sort of guides me about getting students to think and work in authentic and engaging ways is this one here from a guy called Rushton Hurley. I absolutely love it. And so when I was a teacher, and I did a sort of work with lots of schools now as well, getting children to share their work to authentic and public and real audiences can have a massive impact. People like David Mitchell, for example, massively championed that around the idea of children blogging. But it doesn't have to be with children blogging. It can be done in lots of different ways. And I know my time's up now, so I'm going to stop talking and just say I hope there's a few ideas for you to take away there. I'm here all night. Well, you'll know that because I'll be comparing and sort of telling bad dad jokes in between presentations and what have you. But I hope you found that interesting. Welcome. Thank you very much.